This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting, brought to you by Undisputed, available on Xbox and PlayStation. I'm joined by BJ Flores today over Zoom. BJ, it's good to see you again, mate. How's life treating
Flores,
you?
what's good, baby? How you doing? What's good?
No, all good on my side. I interviewed Wade a couple of days ago, and he brought you up in the interview, and I was thinking, damn, I haven't spoken to BJ in a while. So yeah, it's good to connect with you again. How's life?
Appreciate that.
What's going on? What's happening in your world?
It's good. Everything's good. We're working. Tristan's working. Josh Bruckner's working. DK Money's been back. Wade's coming back this week. Everyone's excited about 2025. Everyone wants to get back in the ring, and I mean, everybody's excited to get back. But I'm really looking forward to Tristan getting back in there. This guy's been training, 5, 6 days a week for the last, couple months now, and he's really been working how he's never worked before. And 2025 is going to be a real big year for everybody on the team. But I really think Tristan's going to surprise a lot of people in 2025 because of how hard he's been working every day. And he's never done that before. So he moved out to Arizona. He moved out here now. He's out here full time and he's locked in every day. And it's good to see. And everyone else is working good too. But Tristan's very, very consistent. And I'm looking, I could tell he's going to have a big year.
No, it sounds pretty good. I'll have to catch up with him soon. Um,
Yeah.
but Wade's coming back already. I thought Wade was having a few days off.
Wade was going to take some time off. I think he was going to go planning on going out to UK for the fight on the 29th. But now that he's not going out there, it creates a little time. So we're talking about him getting back out here sooner rather than later because I think he's great for the space. I think Wade is he's got a lot of ability that's been not tapped into, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for him out there. He's a great talker. His demographics perfect for this, and he's just really he's really passionate about the scene. So I think Wade Plemons involved in these fights does good business for everybody.
No, certainly. I've known Wade for a long time now, and it's great to see his success. But he's been out. When I interviewed him, he said, "Oh, I've got a few things coming up. I'll be back training at BJ Flores." So you expect to see we'll have Wade in the ring at least twice this year, one or two
I
times.
mean, I don't know how many times, but I mean, I know he'll be back, and he's excited about it. And I know Mams is excited about getting him back on, regardless of their, little online, drama they have, which I think is great. But I think Wade does good. Does good. He's just a great kid. He really is. I really like working with Wade. He's very easy to work with. He's very hardworking. He listens well. He takes instruction. He takes criticism. He's very positive, and just he's one of those guys that you like to be around. He's got that positive mindset, and he's a real hard worker. And I'm real proud of him. So he's got a long ways to go, but I think he's gonna have a good year if he gets back into camp and is continually training. If he's on the road doing his thing and his commentary and all that, and that's cool. But I mean, he's not going to develop over here in the ring as quickly as he could if he's being consistent. But he's got a big upside to him. He could have a big year if he wants to.
What did you make of KSR and Wade's beef on Twitter recently?
I think it really got taken out of context. I feel like Wade didn't really say anything about KSI. I feel like he was just kind of impressed Dylan was actually going to show up, and I think we all kind of were waiting for Dylan's pulled out of so many fights, and now this is 2 fights in a row where KSI was supposed to fight, and both times the fight didn't happen. So that's got to tighten up for sure. But there's a lot of time that goes into these promotions. You can't help when someone gets sick. You can't help that at all. Just bad luck, I guess. But I didn't really take too much from it, honestly. I just feel like it was kind of a misunderstanding. Wade wasn't taking a shot at KSI. I think he was just kind of, saying, look, like Dylan was going to show up, and I think we were all kind of like surprised. So I don't think there's any question that KSI would have easily handled Dylan, and I don't think there's any fear on KSI's part at all for Dylan. So I mean, like I said, I don't think it goes into that category at all. I just feel like it was just bad timing, and maybe they tried to train through when he was sick, and they should have given him time to rest and recover. I don't know many sicknesses that last for 3 or 4 weeks, so that's just that's a bit of bad luck right there.
If you were KSI's coaches, if you were training KSI, would you try to keep him in the fight?
I don't think so. If Mams has no reason to not tell what's going on, and he said he was having some serious problems. He wasn't able to spar and wasn't able to get ready, and I just think it's a situation where there's a lot of times where Jake would get sick in camp, when we'd be training. I was, his head trainer for his first 8 fights, and he'd get sick sometimes, and it just happens. You have to give him a couple days off, and it's just part of it. You can't train through all those situations every time. So I would have given him time off. I would have given him 4 or 5 or 6 days off to make sure he got better and got well rested. But then again, I don't know all the parts of the story or the situation, so there might be more to it. But first things first, your body cannot train and cannot recover when you're broken down from training. And you got to let the guy rest, and you can't. Sometimes you can't train through it. So it's bad luck, but hopefully he'll get back on another card quick. I think they're going to redo it, reschedule it, which I think is great because everybody put a lot of work into that event, and a lot of people were promoting it very hard, and it was going to be a good event. I was excited about it. So I think it was one of those things where hopefully we can get it done in April or May.
No, certainly. Hopefully April. Hopefully end of April we'll see it come back onto the scene. Speaking of Jake Paul, you mentioned Jake Paul called out Anthony Joshua. Your thoughts on this? 2026, Jake Paul versus AJ.
I can't even comment on that. I love Jake, but I mean, come on, you got to stay away from the big boy. AJ is the real deal right there at heavyweight. I would like to see Jake, stick at cruiserweight, stay at 200 pounds, and make call out some of those guys. There's some really good names that at that 200-pound division that he could call out that are he's still got a little ways to go before he's able to go in with those guys. But AJ's another animal altogether. I mean, Canelo already was going to be a big step up, massive, massive. And then I heard about Gervonta, which I don't understand, like what the mindset is on Jake versus Gervonta. I don't understand that at all. But and then from Gervonta to AJ, it's just like I don't know. It just seems like there's just not a um, I don't know. Again, I'm not in the loop, so I don't know what's going on. It just sounds a little strange.
If you were still working with Jake Paul at this time, would you be like more stay away from AJ, focus on the weight class you're at?
Of course, yeah. AJ's a natural 6'6", 245 pound, very, very large man, very strong, Olympic gold medalist. He's got a pedigree. And Jake's improving. Jake's getting really good. I really like what I see from Jake, but that's a big step up. I would like to see a couple little steps in between that. Maybe a fight at heavyweight against an active boxer now, and then see how that goes. And based on that, maybe another one. And then before you start calling out, the guy who's pretty much ruled the roost for the last 10 years. AJ is a real guy, and he's a real handful for anybody. So, but there's some guys at 200 pounds. There's some decent names out there that I think Jake could match up good with over the next 6 to 12 months. I'd be excited to see those fights at 200, and I think that's where he's got his best chance to win a world title.
How many fights away is Jake Paul from a world title?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been in camp recently or lately, but I like what I see from him. He's got good guys around him, and he's improving fast, quickly because he's so focused on, he works. He's a tireless worker. He doesn't really ever take too much time off, and that really helps him. And he's got a good chin. He's got great power, and he's just a very he's got a lot of attributes that you can't teach, and he's got the grit. He's got the determination. He just needs more experience under the lights and not experience in the gym. So I'd like to see him get at least 2 to 3 more fights before he's able to, call out some of these guys in the top 5, or maybe one of the champions that are a little older. I'd like to see him get 2 or 3 more fights at least. But again, I'm not in the immediate training team now. Me and Jake talk here and there every couple months or whatever, and I touch base, and that's kind of it. So
I saw KSI did an interview with the red carpet recently at the Brit Awards saying that he thinks that KSI and Jake Paul happens this year. Do you think
who
it
said
happens?
that?
KSI.
Oh yeah, I don't. I mean, they got to come off their weight demands if they actually want the fight. They got to. Here's the thing you got to think about. Like everybody talks about Jake fighting, 187 or whatever when he fought Nate Diaz like almost 2 years ago. He went up almost 25 or 30 pounds to get ready for the Mike Tyson fight. You can't just go up and come back down like that. It doesn't work. It didn't work for Roy Jones. You can't go up to 200 then come back down. Any fighter a little older, you can't just lose weight like that and come back down. When you burn muscle, you lose reflexes, you lose speed, you lose endurance, you lose stamina. So I don't see Jake coming below 200 ever. And I've always told that to Mams. I just don't see it happening. But that's cool. KSI. If KSI comes to 200, I'm sure Jake would fight him. But any lower than that, I just don't think it makes sense for Jake to cut off his arm or his leg to fight KSI at 190 or 192. And I think both sides are a little smarter now, where KSI realizes he doesn't want to fight above his weight class. And I don't think Jake wants to go too low after gaining so much weight for the Mike Tyson camp.
So you don't think 192 could be the way it happens at? Jake Paul coming
No,
down,
no, no
KSI
chance.
going up quite a
I
lot.
saw I saw Jake when he fought Mike, not Tyson, when he fought Mike Perry, and when he was like 203, his face looked like a skeleton. So I just don't see him having a lot of room, especially as he's getting older. It's just it's tough to get older and lose weight, and especially 7.5 pounds. It's just not a realistic. It's not a realistic number. I always told him, once you go up in weight, once you get bigger, do not go back down. It's rule number one how fighters lose. Look at Chad Dawson and Andre Ward. Look at Roy Jones when he went up to 200 pounds and he beat John Ruiz, and he came back to 175 and he fought Antonio Tarver. Full credit to Antonio Tarver. but that was not the same Roy Jones at Mandalay Bay that night. That wasn't the same guy. And I'd tell Jake the same thing, and I think his team's smart enough to know that.
So it's more likely we'll see Wade versus KSI than Jake Paul versus KSI.
Everyone's got to quit trying to rush that fight. I think if Wade gets a couple more fights, he'll be more competitive than Dylan Dennis, or he'll be more competitive than any of JJ's last fights except Tommy. He'll be more competitive. Wade will be more competitive now than all of JJ's other fights except Tommy Fury. And Wade will beat Dylan Dennis' ass too, no question about it. He can beat Dylan. So, but I want Wade to have a little more time. But we're talking about it. It's definitely there's something there.
That
I
could
think
be
it's a
quite good.
naturally the guys naturally just kind of there's certain guys that just kind of get under your skin, and I think that's Wade to JJ. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and it's an interesting dynamic. It really is with Wade and Mams and JJ, and they're all kind of they do business together, but they take shots at each other, and it's just the wacky world of misfits, and I love it.
I'd love to see Wade versus KSI. What? So what? How
Yeah,
does that
I
fight
think
go,
we still
BJ?
need
In
a little
about
time for that, but yeah,
been about
it's
three fights.
definitely
Say Wade has two or three fights, and then fights KSI. He's probably had one more fight by then. How's that fight go? How's that play out? You're confident in your guy?
no. I'm not with KSI. Again, it's a guy who's been boxing 5 years, but I just in the last 2 years, what are we talking? The last 18 months, he hasn't fought, and at his age, when you haven't been boxing your entire life, you can't take 18-month layoffs and expect to come back and perform better than you did in the last fight. You got to stay busy. You got to stay active, and that's what I really like what Jake's done. Since KSI's last fight, Jake has fought within that same time frame. Mike Perry, he fought Andre August, Ryan Borland, Mike Tyson. He has had 5 different fights in 5 different training camps, and that's a massive difference, especially at this age. And Jake's, I think, 28, 27. He's been very smart staying active like that, and with KSI being off so long, and then he's got another injury, and he's got sickness now, and who knows when he'll be back in the ring. So, again, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what his next move is. But I hope he fights Dylan Dennis on that card. The card that's supposed to happen March 29th. I think it's a good fight. I think KSI drills him, and I'd like to see that for sure. I'd like KSI to knock him unconscious, finally put an end to it. But Dylan's doing a good job promoting it too, so I got to give him a little credit.
Do you reckon Dylan will reschedule the fight and be happy for that? Because he's fighting Tony Ferguson in May, and that's at like what 165, and this fight's at 185. Then he's got to cut 20 pounds in like 4 weeks. Do you reckon he'll be happy it's been rescheduled? I can imagine he's probably quite frustrated.
It makes it tough, and I think he's going to look at what the best opportunity is for him. If I'm on his team, I'm going to say, look, let's look at both fights. Let's look at the fight we believe is the best opportunity for us to win the fight, A, and B, financially, what's the best opportunity? And they're going to have to make some decisions because you're not going to be able to fight 165 in May and 185 whenever the fight is. So it definitely is going to, make things interesting. But it's a good opportunity for Dylan to be in.
You got a KSI fight or you got a Tony Ferguson fight. So yeah, two good fights indeed. Well, BJ, as always, mate, I do appreciate it. Anything else coming up for you in the next few weeks? Anything on the radar?
No, we had Jordan Guinness fight in Nashville, March 4th. He won a 4-round decision. I'm looking forward to Josh Bruckner to Wade, both fighting in June, hopefully, and then Tristan, hopefully in July. Whenever they announce some of these cards, the guys are working hard. They're ready to go. We're excited for them. I'm excited for them because I see the work they're putting in every day, and I know it's going to be a big year for the entire team. So, hey, everybody who was on the March 29th card, hang in there, keep your heads up. I know it's tough to swallow this pill sometimes when you spent so much money on training camp, but just keep fighting that good fight. Mans is going to get you back out there, and it's going to be everybody's going to win. So just sometimes it takes a little longer to get to where you want to go, but to stay positive and don't get discouraged.
Wow. So Josh Bruckner and Wade both fighting in June. Not long at all.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We're working on it. There's a couple rumors of a couple cards that would make really good sense for them to be on with some good opponents. So, and again, Josh will fight anybody. He doesn't care. Josh will. It doesn't matter. Anyone, anytime, any place. Line him up. Tristan will fight anybody at 175. He doesn't care. So we're going to be real easy to work with because these guys have been working really hard, and it's going to show the next time they get in the ring.
All right. Well, sounds pretty good there. Well,
Yes, sir.
hopefully I'll see you guys in June or Jake Paul's
Yes,
next
sir.
fight whenever he fights again. But yeah, as always, mate, thank you very much.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate you, man. Let's get dinner next time on me. Let's go.